Sorry.
What do you do?
Sorry.
That's people's work. You can't graffiti here. Don't you walk away from me.
Hey, fuck you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Old Film Vault. Two broke actors from working-class Boston wrote themselves the lead roles in their own movie, and the studio that bought the script tried to hand those roles to Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio instead. That's Good Will Hunting, the 1997 drama about a genius janitor at MIT, and the movie that turned Matt Damon and Ben Affleck into two of the biggest names in Hollywood. Today, we're counting down 20 facts about it that even longtime fans probably don't know. We'll get into the real family member hiding in the cast list, the line that never should have made it into the final cut, and the single Academy Award record that nobody has managed to break in almost 30 years. We'll also get into exactly how close this whole project came to falling apart before a single scene was ever shot. Now, let's start the countdown.
Well, this is great. Who did this? Jack?
Wasn't me.
Nimish?
No way.
Number 20. In his 5th year at Harvard, Matt Damon was enrolled in a playwriting class. The final assignment was simple: write a one-act play. Damon didn't do that. Instead, he turned in the first act of a movie script about a genius janitor from South Boston, working through complicated math problems while avoiding a future everyone else assumed he should want. By the strict rules of the class, that's not what was assigned, and by most accounts, he didn't get credit for following instructions. He brought in his childhood friend Ben Affleck to help finish it, and the two of them spent years carrying that early draft around Hollywood, getting rejected by studio after studio before anyone would take it seriously. A screenplay that eventually won an Academy Award technically started as a college assignment gone off the rails.
Somebody who challenges you.
Chucky.
No, Chucky's family. He'd lie down in fucking traffic for you. No, I'm talking about someone who opens up things for you, touches your soul.
Number 19. Before this was a story about therapy and friendship, it was something else entirely. In early drafts, Will's math genius gets him noticed by the FBI, who want to recruit him as a cryptanalyst, and much of the plot involved him being chased around Boston by government agents. When Castle Rock Entertainment bought the script for around $600,000, studio head Rob Reiner told Damon and Affleck flat out that the screenplay was actually two different movies fighting each other, and they'd have to pick one. They chose the character study over the spy chase. Almost the entire thriller subplot got cut. The only surviving trace is the scene where Will sits down with government recruiters and turns them down flat.
Come here. I have to tell you something.
Huh?
I have to tell you something.
Oh.
Well,
Number 18. While shopping the rewritten script around Hollywood, Damon and Affleck got suspicious that studio executives were skimming instead of reading. So, around page 60, they inserted a completely unexplained sex scene between two straight male characters, Sean and his old college friend Gerald Lambeau, with zero setup and zero follow-up. Every studio passed without saying a word about it until they met with Harvey Weinstein at Miramax. He told them it was a strong script, but added, about page 60, the two professors, both straight men, have a sex scene. What the hell is that? He was the only executive who'd actually read it cover to cover, and that alone helped decide which studio got to make the movie. It's a strange, slightly absurd origin story for a movie now remembered as one of the most sincere, emotionally earnest dramas of its decade.
Like the week after I'm 21?
Yeah, they gonna hook you up with a job or what?
Yeah, fucking sit in a room and do long division for the next 50 years.
Number 17. This is the fact that opened this video, and it's worth sitting with for a second. When Castle Rock Entertainment first acquired the script, Damon and Affleck fully intended to star in it themselves. The studio had other plans. According to Damon, the first word they heard back on casting was simply, at the time, DiCaprio had just come off The Basketball Diaries, and Pitt was fresh from SE7 and both certified rising stars, unlike the two relatively unknown writers hoping to headline their own script. The casting standoff dragged on long enough that the project nearly stalled out entirely at Castle Rock before it ever found its way to Miramax, where Damon and Affleck were finally allowed to play the parts they'd written for themselves all along. It's wild to think this entire film almost happened with two completely different lead actors, and honestly, digging up swaps like that is exactly why we make these videos. If you're the kind of person who wants the deep cuts other channels, skip over, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
I ask you about love, probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable. Known someone that could level you with her eyes.
Number 16. Almost from the moment Good Will Hunting won its Oscar, a rumor started circulating that veteran screenwriter William Goldman, the man behind Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Princess Bride, had secretly written or heavily rewritten the script. Goldman denied it for the rest of his life. At a Writers Guild seminar, he laid out exactly what happened. Castle Rock sent him the script for a single day of notes, and all he told Damon and Affleck was to cut the FBI subplot. That was the entire extent of his involvement. As Goldman put it himself, people don't want to think those two cute guys wrote it, adding that his own obituary would probably still credit him with writing it, whether he liked it or not. In his memoir, Which Lie Did I Tell?, he addressed it again in writing, joking that he did not just doctor it, and flatly denying authorship one more time for the record. The fact that Goldman was famous enough for this rumor to even seem plausible says something about how airtight Damon and Affleck's script really was.
You have a problem?
No, there's no problem here. I was just hoping you might give me some insight into the evolution of the market economy in the southern colonies.
Number 15. Ben Affleck's first move was to hand the script to his friend Kevin Smith, the director of Clerks, and ask him to direct it himself. Smith read it and said the material deserved a better director, turning down the job but staying on as an executive producer to help push it through the system. At the time, Smith and his producing partner Scott Mosier were already working with Affleck on Mallrats and with both Affleck and Damon on Chasing Amy, so the friendship ran deep, and it was Smith and Mosier who eventually carried the script over to Miramax when Castle Rock stalled. Miramax's own top choice for director was somebody else entirely, Mel Gibson, fresh off directing and starring in the Best Picture winner Braveheart. Gibson actually sat down with Damon and Affleck to discuss it. Though neither of them had gotten around to seeing Braveheart yet, Weinstein reportedly told them to fake enthusiasm for it anyway to stay in Gibson's good graces. Gus Van Sant wasn't hired until later in the process.
So I think maybe I'll get up there and I'll knock on the door and you won't be there. No goodbye, no see you later, no nothing. Just left.
Number 14. The film's central image, a working-class janitor who's secretly a genius trapped in the halls of an elite university, wasn't just a clever contrast the writers invented from nothing. Ben Affleck has said both his father and his stepmother worked as custodians at Harvard. That first-hand detail gave the script's class tension a specificity that's hard to fake. Affleck has said in interviews that watching his father clean the halls of an institution most people only dream of attending shaped how he saw the gap between Will's world and the Harvard world long before he ever put it on paper. Years later, Affleck put his money where his script was, appearing alongside Damon at a real Harvard rally supporting a living wage campaign for the university's campus workers and narrating a documentary about the same cause. The janitor's eye view of an Ivy League campus wasn't research, it was family history.
Well, I think we should just get out of the way now.
Right now?
No.
Number 13. Minnie Driver was 26 when she auditioned for Skylar, and she said in multiple interviews, including one with The Telegraph, that the note came from very high up in the production and specifically questioned whether audiences would find her attractive enough for the role. She didn't name every name publicly, but she's been direct that it stung badly at the time, coming right as she was just starting to feel comfortable in her own skin. It was Damon, Affleck, and director Gus Van Sant who fought to keep her in the role. Driver has said she's grateful to them until this day for standing their ground, since without their pushback she likely would have been recast before filming even began. The gamble paid off in the most public way possible. Her performance earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress, a fairly direct rebuttal to whoever wrote that original note.
It's not your fault.
Don't fuck with me, all right? Don't fuck with me, Sean, not you.
It's not your fault.
Number 12. By the late 90s, Robin Williams could reliably command around $20 million a movie. For this film, he agreed to just $5 million up front. When asked why, Williams said simply, "I had to. They would have made this movie without me. It's too good not to be made." That wasn't the whole story, though. According to Matt Damon, who's told this story on his own podcast appearances, Williams' deal included an escalating profit share once the film's box office passed $60 million, a structure Damon has called a genuinely incredible and unusually savvy piece of contract negotiation. For an actor mostly known for his comedy, not his business instincts, Good Will Hunting went on to make over $225 million worldwide, meaning the actor who took the discount ultimately walked away with far more money than his usual upfront fee would have paid him.
Maybe you married the wrong woman.
Maybe you should watch your mouth. Watch it right there, Chief, all right?
Number 11. Early in the film, Will mocks a watercolor hanging in Sean's office, calling it a muddled Winslow Homer knockoff. That painting wasn't a prop from a studio art department. Director Gus Van Sant, who studied painting before he studied film, made it himself, modeling it after Homer's famous work, The Gulf Stream. Van Sant even inscribed a personal note to Robin Williams along the bottom margin of the original, reading, "Turn your boat around, good for you." In a 2018 interview, Van Sant admitted the scene technically could have played out without ever cutting to the painting at all, but showing it gave Williams' character a rare flash of visible vulnerability, letting the audience see a crack in Sean's composure before he's ready to show it in words. After Williams passed away in 2014, that same watercolor went up for auction as part of his estate in 2018. Against an estimate of just $100 to $1,500, it sold for $90,000. Proof that the piece of shit Will insults on screen became a genuinely valuable piece of film history.
All right, Mr. Nosy Parker. Seeing as you're intent on breaking my balls.
Number 10. Buried in the full cast list, credited only as chess game player, is a man named Kent Damon. That's not a coincidence of names. Kent Damon was Matt Damon's actual father, a Boston-area stockbroker, real estate agent, and tax preparer, appearing in a small, non-speaking background role in his son's own movie. He wasn't an actor by trade, just a parent willing to stand around a chess table for a day of filming. It's the kind of detail that's easy to scroll past on an official credits page and never think about twice, but once you know it, it recontextualizes the whole project a little. This wasn't just two friends making a movie about their city. It was, in a very literal sense, a family affair, with Damon's own father quietly appearing in the background of his son's Oscar-winning debut, a nice bit of symmetry for a movie so preoccupied with fathers, mentors, and the people who shape us without ever taking center stage themselves.
Hold on one second.
You doing?
Hey.
What's up, baby? You want some of my ass?
Hervey, I remember you from Juvie. How you doing?
What you doing?
Number 9. Credited only as Hervey, an uncredited extra appears briefly in a jail scene alongside Matt Damon. That extra is Harmony Korine, the writer of the controversial 1995 film Kids, which drew backlash for its unflinching depiction of teenage sexuality, and the director of Gummo, his own directorial debut, which had premiered mere months before Good Will Hunting hit theaters and shocked audiences with its raw, confrontational look at rural poverty. Korine and Gus Van Sant were friends within the same 90s indie film scene. Van Sant had even executive produced Kids and publicly praised Gummo after it debuted at the Telluride Film Festival, so a quick favor cameo isn't out of character for either of them. It's a strange, deliberate wink from Van Sant to the more abrasive, underground side of independent film, hidden inside one of the most mainstream, awards-friendly movies of his career, and most viewers have watched this film a dozen times without ever clocking it.
What the fuck do you want?
I've spoken to the judge, and he's agreed to release you under my supervision.
Really?
Yeah.
Number 8. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck had carried this script around Hollywood for roughly 5 years before it finally got made. So when the first scene on the actual shooting schedule turned out to be the bar conversation between Sean and Professor Lambeau, played by Robin Williams and Stellan Skarsgård, something unusual happened. According to Damon, the two actors performed the scene almost word for word as written, and Damon and Affleck stood off to the side and simply started crying. Damon has described sitting next to Affleck with tears rolling down his face, overwhelmed that after half a decade of rejection, two accomplished actors were speaking their exact dialogue back to them. It's a rare, documented moment of two writers watching their own words become real in front of them. Skarsgård later said he genuinely enjoyed working opposite Williams, specifically because Williams kept throwing his performance off balance in the best possible way. In his own words, a scene partner needs to occasionally mess up your rhythm, or you get a little stiff, too skillful, and too elegant. And Williams, the king of improvisation, made sure that never happened.
All sorts of wonderful little idiosyncrasies. You know, she used to fart in her sleep. I'm sorry I shared that with you. One night it was so loud it woke the dog up.
Number 7. During a therapy session scene, Williams' character launches into a story about his late wife's habit of farting in her sleep, a detail that isn't in the shooting script at all. Williams improvised the entire anecdote in the middle of a take, with no warning to his scene partner or, apparently, to anyone else on set. Matt Damon's on-screen laughter isn't acting. He genuinely wasn't expecting it, and if you watch the scene closely, the camera itself shakes slightly, apparently because the camera operator was struggling not to laugh as well. Nobody called cut, nobody reset, and the moment worked so well on every level that it made the final cut exactly as it happened, unscripted reaction, and all a rare case where breaking character actually improved the scene instead of ruining the take.
It's not your fault.
Oh my God.
Number 6. In the film's emotional turning point, Sean confronts Will about his childhood abuse by repeating a single phrase, "It's not your fault," again and again until Will finally breaks down. By most tallies of the scene, Williams delivers that exact line 10 separate times, each repetition landing with slightly more weight than the last as Will's defenses visibly crack. Even William Goldman, who spent years publicly distancing himself from this film to kill the secret writer rumor, singled out the moment in his own writing about Hollywood mockingly counting out all 10 repetitions in italics for effect and joking about how simple the solution to Will's trauma seemed on paper. Whether you read that as a backhanded compliment or a genuine one, the fact remains. The scene is one of the most quoted, most parodied, and most referenced moments in 90s cinema, repetition and all, still routinely showing up in lists of the greatest movie scenes of the decade.
If the professor calls about that job, just tell him, sorry. I had to go see about a girl. Will.
Son of a bitch. He stole my line.
Number 5. In the film's closing scene, Sean is supposed to silently read a goodbye letter from Will and let the camera hold on his reaction, no dialogue at all. During filming, Matt Damon stood next to the camera and read the letter's words aloud on every take, purely so Williams would have something to react to. Williams reportedly went through around 15 takes total, some with him walking back inside and putting the envelope back in the mailbox, a few with no reaction at all. Around the 9th take, Williams looked up from the letter and said, unscripted, "Son of a bitch. He stole my line." Damon has since described it as watching a perfect piece of dialogue fall out of thin air, and the director agreed instantly, choosing to end the entire film on a joke nobody had written down anywhere.
Well, I can't believe you brought Skylar here. We fucking all bombed and drinking.
I know, Morgan. It's a real rarity we'd be all drinking.
You know, my Uncle Marty drinks.
Number 4. Let's talk numbers for a second. Good Will Hunting was produced on a relatively modest budget, reported at around $10 million. Modest even by the standards of 1,997, when a single effects-driven blockbuster could easily cost 10 or 12 times that much. By the time its theatrical run wrapped up worldwide, the film had earned roughly $225.9 million. That's more than a 20 times return on investment for a movie that, on paper, is just two friends talking in a bar and an office for 2 hours, with no explosions, no car chases, and no special effects budget to speak of. It stands as one of the clearest examples from the 90s of a character-driven drama massively outperforming its budget, propped up by strong reviews and word of mouth, rather than any built-in franchise or spectacle. And it remains a case study people in Hollywood still point to.
I don't love you.
Number 3. At the 70th Academy Awards, Good Will Hunting picked up 9 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director for Gus Van Sant, Best Actor for Matt Damon, and Best Supporting Actress for Minnie Driver. The film also picked up nominations for Best Original Score, Best Film Editing, and Best Original Song for Elliott Smith's haunting Miss Misery, which played over the closing credits. Out of that entire haul, it won 2, Best Supporting Actor for Robin Williams and Best Original Screenplay for Damon and Affleck. Losing 7 of 9 nominations might sound like an underperformance, but the 2 wins it did take home are arguably the 2 categories anyone actually remembers today, more than a losing Best Picture nod ever could have delivered on its own. Nobody walks away from this film talking about the cinematography. They walk away talking about Robin Williams' performance and the script 2 childhood friends wrote themselves.
Who you are, then I'm fascinated. I'm in. But you don't want to do that, do you, sport?
Number 2. The film's most famous scene takes place on an ordinary park bench in Boston's Public Garden, where Sean and Will have their most honest conversation of the entire movie. For years, it was just a filming location tourists occasionally photographed on their way through the park, nothing more than a footnote on a walking tour. That changed the day Robin Williams died in 2014. Fans began leaving flowers, handwritten notes, and quotes from the film directly on that bench, turning it into an impromptu, unofficial memorial almost overnight. A petition later circulated calling for a permanent statue of Williams to be placed near the spot. It's worth sitting with why that particular bench, out of every location in the film, became the place people wanted to grieve. It's where Sean tells Will about real loss, about loving someone so much that losing them leaves a mark nothing can fully explain. Williams delivered that speech nearly 2 decades before his own death, and the public seemed to instinctively understand that this was the closest thing to a proper goodbye they'd get. A quiet, unassuming movie location became, for a grieving public with nowhere else to put their feelings, something closer to a shrine. Number 1. Remember the fact we opened with that Castle Rock wanted Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio in these roles, instead of the 2 actors who'd actually written the thing? Here's how that story really ends. Damon and Affleck kept their parts, kept their script, and walked away from the 70th Academy Awards, holding the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Ben Affleck was 25 years old at the time. To this day, he remains the youngest person ever to win that award, and Damon, at 27, still ranks among the youngest as well. Multiple entertainment outlets confirm the record hasn't been touched in nearly 3 decades, surviving every celebrated young screenwriter who's come up since. 2 guys the studio didn't want to cast in their own movie ended up setting an Oscar record that every screenwriter since has quietly failed to beat, and it all traces back to a homework assignment. One of them, technically, failed.
Son of a bitch. He stole my line.
Now smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to subscribe so you know when we upload another video like this. If you have any recommendations, feel free to let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.